Hello everyone, True Zero Emissions here. So today, I'm sharing with you my experience of changing this tire on the Dualtron Thunder 2. I love the range on this scooter. I love that I can fast charge it. The last time I charged the scooter, I'm not recommending you do this, but I charged it at 25 amps with the Roger charger. It went from 7% to 100% in 1.5 hours, 1.5 hours. That's charging at approximately 2,200 watts. You can find the Roger charger on YouTube by just looking up Roger charger. Okay, so this tire experience was very interesting, and I think the simplest thing to do if you ever have to change your tire on your scooter, and your scooter has the ability to change the rim and tire together, meaning that the rim separates from the motor. This has that ability. The new Wolf King GTR also has that ability, which is wonderful. That's such a good idea, because it's quite difficult, quite a challenge to put the tire on the rim and also to get the rim off the tire. I know some people are really good at it. They use zip ties. I use zip ties. I still had a really difficult time. I use soap, like liquid soap. I use lots of things. So one of the things I'm real careful with is trying not to damage the tire and also not to damage the rim. By the way, the tire, the prices vary, but the tire might cost anywhere from $50 to $70 or so dollars. And the rim, if you buy the rim with the tire together, it's usually approximately around $20 more, approximately. Double check that price for yourself. So to me, it's worth the work of just having the tire already on the rim. Now, recently I inquired about buying a tire and rim together as a set, because I had to change the front tire on this. And only thing available with the rim and tire already mounted together, where I just put the rim and tire together on the motor, was it didn't have the self-sealing, self-healing ability. I'm not willing to go back, even temporarily. If it was an emergency situation, I could see doing it, but if it's not an emergency, I will rather wait and get the self-sealing, self-healing tire. This scooter came with that technology, and it was a very good choice to give people that ability to not get flat tires. It's wonderful. So the most nails and screws I pulled out of my tire before was 10, and that's because I just left them in there. I just wanted to see what would happen. And as I accumulated nails and screws, because I pick them up on the back tire, it's very common with where I ride the scooter. Lots of construction and things like that. So, and then on the side of roads where bike path is, on the side of road, that's where most of the debris goes anyway. The nails and screws all tend to drift over toward where the bikes ride and the scooters ride. So it is quite common to pick up screws. These are kind of like street cleaners, right? We just pick up all the metal. So anyway, back to this sealer here. So this is called Bead sealer. I bought the largest one they had. It's the largest one I saw, at least. This is the 32 ounce variety, and it's called Bead sealer, and it works very well. But let me tell you how I used it. So what I did is I put the tire on the rim, and I put the sealer on the between the rim and the tire. I put it in there where the bead is, where the tire meets the rim. And then and then what happened is, the next day when I tried to pump the tire up, so this stuff dried, right? It's really soft though. I thought, oh, it'll hold air. I thought, so I'm going around looking for someone with the most powerful air compressor to pump it up really quick, so it makes that tire push out and seal against the rim, because these are non-tube tires. They're called tubeless. So that's preferable to me. I prefer not having a tube. If I was going to have a tube, I would probably want a tube that's like a 1/2 inch thick in rubber, like the strongest, whatever the strongest material is. But I still prefer a tubeless tire, because for one, if you get a flat tire, well, these kind of tires self-seal and heal themselves, right? But with a non-self-sealing, self-healing tire, I could always plug it with a tire plug, and that'll plug in most situations where there's a flat tire. Sometimes if the hole's too big, it won't plug it. That also is the case with the self-sealing, self-healing tires. If the hole's like the size of one of my fingers, like my thumb, then the self-sealing material inside will just push out of the hole. Although I've tied one of those plugs in a knot with 3 knots together, so it was really big, and then I pushed it in the big hole, and it stayed. So with the self-sealing, self-healing tire technology, it actually worked. So that was a temporary fix, and I actually rode the scooter like that for a long time, without any troubles at all. So now what I learned was Cameron and I, so we wanted to go riding, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get air in the tire because I was having trouble getting air in the tire, and everyone that had tried so far was also not able to get the tire to hold air. They were recommending this material to use, and I said, well, I used it. It was my first time using it, but here's what we did. So Cameron and I went to a gas station, and it was really nice because this gas station we went to had the air, where you check the air for the tires, right next to the gas pump, which is a good system, right? It's rare to see that. It was kind of nice. You just pull up like you're getting fuel, and then you can get the air that you need as well. So this gas station had a really powerful compressor, which was helpful to us. And but what we did was we put paper. So we lifted the scooter up. We put a stand on underneath the scooter, which I got from purchased from Harbor Freight. It's a stand like this, similar to this one. I don't know if you could see that. Like this one down here. Got the backpacks on. My Roger Charger's inside there. So what happened was, Cameron and I, what I did is I squeezed the tire. I would pull the tire to one side, and Cameron would paint this. This stuff is thin, but it's a little bit, it's like a liquid, but it's like a thick liquid, but not really, really thick, right? How can I compare it to? Maybe like toothpaste? No, it's more watery than toothpaste, but it's also not like water. It's thicker than water is. So this has a brush in it, and what we did was we had gloves on. We put paper towels all down underneath the tire of the scooter, and Cameron also, which was a very good idea, is he made a hole in a paper towel and then put it over this and then pushed it down here, right? So if I wanted to go to the next level of that, I could have put a rubber band around this and held it there too. But what he did worked perfectly, and it helped minimize the mess here. So Cameron would lift this up and just hold it there for a second while it dripped, because he didn't want to bring it over to the scooter while it's dripping everywhere in the paper towels, right? Minimal loss, minimal waste, right? And then we just went around the whole tire like that. I would hold it in. Cameron would paint the area between the tire and the rim, which was literally painting the rim with this stuff. This is like a, I might be able to show you actually as an example. When this dries, I'm just going to push this right here. You see how this just rolls off? Look at that. And it's sticky. It's sticky, and it just peels right off. So afterward, I was able to clean the mess up really easily, because after this dried, I just rubbed the rim on the outside. I rubbed it with the paper towel, and this stuff just rolled up and came off. And it sealed really, really well. I had a previous Dualtron Thunder 1, the first one, which was a dream come true. I always wanted the Dualtron Thunder scooter. All of them are very good. I haven't ridden the Dualtron Thunder 3 yet, but it seems to be an improvement on the 1 and the 2. I like their range and everything. I always say this, and I'm going to always say it. I'm getting used to the suspension on the front. I'm getting used to the suspension on the scooter. But my favorite suspension of any scooter that I've ridden is the Wolf King GTR. That has my absolute favorite suspension. And the scooter being tall, like high up in the air, it's not even noticeable, which is hard to understand. It seems like it defies the laws of physics in my imagination, that I'm not uncomfortable stepping up to it. I just get on the scooter and I stop, I put my leg down, I get back on it. It's significantly higher than this. Well, it's a little bit higher. It's a few inches higher, I think, than the Dualtron Thunder 2. What I would like to also see on the Wolf King GTR is better brakes. I would like to see the best brakes on any scooter that's out there, just the best. I would like to see that, because that scooter, in many ways, is the best. It has the best power and speed. It's smooth. Now, the Dualtron Thunder 2... The Dualtron Thunder 2 is also extremely powerful, but it's a different kind of power. I could easily spin the wheels on this. The Wolf King GTR, I can spin the wheels on it if I leave it on a high power with the traction control turned off. it's just a different experience. That's why it's important to ride scooters and compare them. That's why I like that Voro Motors in Panorama City, California lets you test ride scooters. You can test ride them, which is really great. One scooter I'm interested in test riding and excited about test riding is the Roadrunner Pro. I think that's what it's called. I really wish that was a 72 volt 84 volt fully charged system or a 94 volt system. I just love high voltage. I wish it was high voltage. I don't know if it has electronic regenerative braking, but I'm a big fan, and I consider it a necessity to have regenerative braking. I really like regenerative braking. Would I get a scooter that didn't have it? It's possible if it had really good brakes, but it would need to have really, really good brake calipers, like the best, like the best in the industry. And these scooters are so fast now, I really want to start seeing motorcycle-sized calipers as an extreme version of that. It could be something in the middle between a motorcycle and a mountain bike. But right now, I'm really seeing what I'm seeing. It looks like, and I'm not an expert on this, but it looks like we're seeing mountain bike brake pads and brake calipers on scooters that can go over 60 miles an hour. And I just want to see something much more powerful. That's just what I want to see as someone that loves engineering and electrical and mechanical engineering. I'm a big fan of electrical and mechanical engineering. And someday I may qualify myself, or I may be qualified to be called that. Some people might call me that now. I just love it, though. I'm a big fan of the way things are made. I study the way things are made, and I like to try to make things. What I enjoy most, though, is sharing an idea with someone, and then someone that has those skills to make stuff, to make things for me, and then I'll just pay them, because that's so much easier. I just am interested in things, but I'm not going to say I'm qualified to make things very well. So, going back to this video, and what this video is primarily supposed to be about, apologies for going off on a tangent there, I always do, is that this bead sealer really made it happen. Once Cameron and I painted the whole rim between the tire and the rim on the inside, like I was pulling the tire over, it was very hard to do. If we could use a tool that squeezed that a little bit and just held it there, I think next time I'll do that, because I was using my fingers and it was really hard to hold that tire over and then let it go and then pull it again. And we went around twice on each side, and then all we did was we didn't put a strap on the tire or anything. We just literally put the air, squeezed it, and it just pumped right up. It didn't even no air leaked or anything. There was like a little bubble this stuff made a bubble. It made a tiny little bubble that didn't even pop. It just made a little bubble and then stopped. And that was between the tire and the rim. So this is really, really good, but it has to be used when pumping the tire up. That makes sense. I put it on the night before, so the next day it was dry already. I think it needs to be wet still when the tire's sealing against there. But the good thing was I didn't have to remove the stuff I had put on the night before. I didn't have to clean it and then reapply it. I just applied more and it sealed. So now there's a brand new front tire on this, and it is the kind of tire that I like, which is the self-sealing, self-healing tire technology. Whoever made that possible to have that tech, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm endlessly grateful for the for that tire technology. And that's why it says right here on the scooter, it says no flat tire. It's because the tires are self-sealing and self-healing. Now what's common is what almost happened to me, where I I need a new tire, right? And just to clarify, this tire was not, the tire that I took off of here was not a self-sealing tire. I think what happened is this scooter needed a tire, and all that was available was a regular tire, the old kind, before they had self-sealing, self-healing tires, which would be like a tire from the Dualtron Thunder 1, right? I don't think that scooter originally came with self-sealing, self-healing tires, and I don't even know if if there's any left, if they're still being sold, because I see them sometimes. I think they still sell them new too, but I don't think they come with a self-sealing, self-healing tire. But if you wanted to have the shop put them on for you, the shops usually have the tires by themselves, maybe not with the rim on it already maybe not mounted to the rim already, where the tire and rim can go onto the motor. But that's an upgrade that I think is worth having. Like I've said before, there's a significant number of people throughout the world that sell their scooters just because it gets a flat tire. And Cameron and I have changed the tire. I would say the most difficult tire change we've ever done was on the Dualtron Raptor. I think it was called the Dualtron Raptor 2, if I recall correctly. It was a Raptor scooter, and I think it was called a 2. But it had these solid tires on it, and I'm a big fan of solid tires. I know a lot of people hate solid tires, but there's a reason for it. The complaint is always that it's too stiff of a ride. But there are solid tires that are called honeycomb tires. Now, just because it says honeycomb, you have to make sure it's actually drilled out. If it has the cutouts where the rubber's been cut out, that allows the tire to give when you hit a bump. Okay, now if it's just solid rubber, then it's going to be almost be like riding a skateboard, right? It's going to be really, really rough. You know, like riding a skateboard on the sidewalk where you feel every bump, you feel everything, right? So, anyway, just wanted to share with you. This video is already 15 minutes. I was thinking of making a short video about this, but as always, you're getting a little extra information. But this bead sealer is great. I bought it on Amazon. It works really, really great. And I'm always going to make sure I have this with me. And I would recommend, if you're changing your tire on your scooter, have at least one friend help you. I'm planning on getting another set of the tire irons. I need to get rid of these free ones I got. So these came free with something I bought. These just scratch the rim up. These I keep them, and they shouldn't be kept here because they really scratch the rim up. But these are the tire irons I purchased, and they're called Dr. Rock, DR and then ROC. And I bought these on Amazon as well. And I think they're the choice of what lengths you get. So I think this one came with one long one and two medium ones, or less long. And those work very well, and they're very smooth, and they're very strong. I don't know what kind of metal this is, but it does not bend. It's very, very strong. Look how smooth that is. Let's get this in some better lighting. Yeah, this is very, very good. So definitely recommend these tire irons. And I would like to get another set of these. At least one more set. Because if a friend's helping, we don't want to run out of these. We want to have enough of these for both of us to be getting in there and putting that tire on. But I think the best way to do this is, and I think it's the way a lot of the mechanics do it, is when you have the rim, and the tire mounted together already. But it needs to be, if you don't want to get flat tires, then I recommend that it be the self-sealing, self-healing tire technology. Not getting the regular tire that doesn't have that and then adding a liquid to it. There's lots of different liquids. I am not a fan of any of the liquids. I haven't tried them all. I've tried slime, and I think the other liquids are all just different versions of some kind of liquid that stays in there. I just prefer that adhesive, that like half-inch thick, that really thick adhesive that does, I'm calling it an adhesive, but it's like a gel that doesn't move around. It just stays there firmly. And anything that punctures that tire, as soon as you pull it out, it closes up right behind there. No air lost. Like I said before, I've had 10 nails and screws in my tire, and I took them all out carefully. The tire still stayed intact. It did not come apart, and I had no trouble with it. I just kept on riding, so I get to actually use the whole tread of the tire. It would be nice to see, right now my favorite scooter tire of all the scooters I've seen out there is the Wolf King GTR. It has a great tire. I mean, it has like motorcycle tread on there, real thick tread, real big, and people like tread because they like to not wear the tread out too fast, right? I was speaking with someone that was telling me they buy the off-road tires for on-road because they like that real thick tread. They just love it. So ideally they would have a tire that thick, but like enduro type, right? And who has that? Wolf King GTR. I'm saying enduro meaning on-road, off-road. The Wolf King GTR has that. So if there's a way to put those tires on a scooter, I would prefer those. If I can get those tires on here somehow, I would like to. I don't know if that can be done. I think this is a smaller rim, if I understand correctly, but I'll double check into that. But if there was an adapter, some way to adapt that gap between a smaller rim and the bigger tire, that would be nice too, but I'll have to look into that as well. Anyway, True Zero Emissions signing off, and just wanted to share with you my positive experience about pumping this tire up. Cameron and I got that tire to seal right away by just adding that liquid there, that bead sealer. And it's called XO XTRA Extra Seal. It's called Extra Seal Bead Sealer Sealant. For commercial use only. Pour. Okay, it's. What does that say? Made in USA. Yeah, this is really, really good. Very, very good. Safety data sheet available on request. Danger. Oh, I think this is the English side. This is, oh yeah, okay. Hazard statements. Highly flammable liquid and vapor. May be fatal if swallowed and enters airways. Causes skin irritation. May cause an allergic skin reaction. May cause drowsiness or dizziness. Keep away from heat, sparks, open flames, hot surfaces. No smoking. Keep container tightly closed. Ground bond container and receiving equipment. Use explosion proof electrical ventilating lighting equipment. So it has lots of recommendations on here. Everything's on here. It says directions are, it says product contains heptane, natural rubber latex, clean tire rims, sealing area free from any debris, dirt or residue. Brush apply a light coat of bead sealer on the outside of the tire bead sealing area. Avoid puddling or bubbling. Re-inflate the tire and carefully check for leaks. If needed, apply a second coat of bead sealer to the tire rim sealing area, which is what we did. We put 2 coats on there right away. Like, we didn't wait for it to dry or anything. We put it on and then did it again. So it works very, very, very good. This stuff's really sticky. And it rolls right off when it's dry. Although, if it gets on your fingers, it's a little bit harder to get off because it gets in the pores, I think, of the fingers. But we used gloves, so we were good. Okay, everyone, True Zero Emission signing off. We'll see you in the next video soon. Have a great day. All right, bye-bye.